Hello soulmates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video we'll be drafting the pattern of this beautiful Veekee James blazer blouse. So before we get started, let's go into the details of this blouse. So from their Instagram page where I got the inspiration from, I noticed that the blazer blouse has a zipper, and if you remember, I recreated one of these blazer blouse where I added zipper, and someone asked me in the comment section why I'm still putting a zipper at the back since it has a button. But from this you can see that the buttons are forced buttons, so it cannot open even for this style also, even though it seems like a jacket that has a button at the front, but the buttons are forced, so you need a zipper for you to be able to wear this blouse. So this is why I'm putting this out here. So this is my pattern, this is the back pattern, this is the front pattern. As you can see, the zigzag neckline, it came out so well and I'm so happy. I can't wait to show you guys how I achieved this. So if you're interested, you have to just keep watching. So this is what the collar looks like. So this is my collar and this is the sleeve. If this is something you're interested in, please just do me a favor by clicking on the like button. Please subscribe, drop a comment in the comment section. Also share this video with your friends, and let's get started. Welcome back guys. So from the previous tutorial of this Veekee James blouse, I drafted this back pattern and it is also the same for this. So if you haven't seen that video, you can just go ahead and watch it. I'll link it up here so that you can see. So for the front bodies, we'll be using the back also to make the front. If you have watched the previous one, you will understand what I'm trying to say. So this is my back pattern, so I'm placing it on this front and I'm leaving ½ inch here. The ½ inch is for the overlapping of the jacket at the front. So now I'll place this on it, and this right here is 6 inches, so you leave 6 inches downward. This is for the hem line of the blouse, so it's just 6 inches downward. So from my waist to the end of the back pattern is 6 inches, and from the waist downward that will be 12. But for the difference between the front and the back pattern is 6. I hope you understand. That space is 6 inches. So I'm just using my tracing wheel to trace out the back, to trace out every line on the back that I need, the darts, and also every other things that I need. Like I said, the ½ inch at the center front is for the overlapping of this jacket, so just take note. So I'm just using my pencil to roll this out, so I'll be fast about that so that we don't waste too much time. So you just go ahead and just draw this out. So you draw this out. So I will still leave this part first. I'm not drawing it now, but let me just use a pencil to draw this out. I'll use my marker later on. So this is just to differentiate this so that we don't mix anything up. So now for this front pattern, I would like to start from the neckline. So for this neckline, the neckline I want to use is 6.5. If you watch my previous video, you will notice my neckline was too low for the previous one, so I'm careful this time around. I'm using 6.5 for the neckline of this, so I'll just mark it like this. Then I'll mark another neckline of 2.5 inches. This is because, you know, this jacket, this blazer blouse, let me just call it a blouse, this blouse has a collar, so I'm using 2.5 at first. Just keep watching, you will understand what I'm trying to do. So you will draw this at first just like this, then after that you measure 1.5 inches apart from the ½ inch that is at the front though. So with the ½ inch at the front, let's just say 2 inches like that. So you mark 2 inches until this line meets the neckline you drew. So just mark it on the neckline just like this. So after that, you just connect this point down to the 6.5 inches we measured below. So you just connect it like this. As you can see, it is not a sharp V kind of neckline. It's still kind of curved. It's like a V neckline, but it's not a sharp V. So now it is time to draw this zigzag. So I drew this at first and I noticed that it was towards the front. It should be at the back. So I erased it and I will be drawing it again. So for me to draw this, So what I did was to measure 1 inch, or you can measure 1¼ inch. So I measured it. You should measure it twice, though I measured it 3 times here, but twice is okay. So just measure it 2 times. So just 2 times like that. Then the next thing you will do is to just make a zigzag. You can use your hand to just draw it if you can draw it, but I use my French curve to just draw it, just a small line, just like this. So I'm using my French curve so that it can come out really perfect. So you go ahead and just do 2. Just 2 is enough. As you can see, I'm doing it inward. The first one I did was outward, and I noticed this was wrong, so I have to do it inward. So this is what it looks like. So after I finished drawing it, I noticed it was not equal, so I'm just trying to correct that. So just make sure the 2 are equal, or even if they are not equal, it will still bring out a different style, which will be nice actually. If one is bigger than the other, it will still be nice. So I was trying to draw the 3rd one when I noticed that I don't need the 3rd one, so I'll be erasing that. You just need 2 at this point. So it's just the 2 you need. So after that, I will just go ahead and use my marker to draw this out, because I'm sure of what I have here. So I'll just use my marker to draw this out. As you can see, it is very easy. So I will complete the remaining neckline for you to see what the neckline looks like. So this is what the neckline looks like. So we are done with the neckline. I'll go ahead and cut this pattern, but you know we are not done with the lower part, so I will just be cutting a little bit of this upper part. So let me just cut it, and I'll cut the neckline too. When you are cutting the neckline, make sure you are very careful and you follow the curve you've made. So I'll open up my pattern paper. I forgot to inform you that this pattern paper is folded into 2. So I opened it up like this. Then I'll be tracing this neckline again. I don't know why I'm tracing this again, but I just want you to see the neckline. That is very beautiful. So the next thing I'll be doing is to just connect all this line that have been traced before using my tracing wheel. So I'll just try and draw it at this other side, and I'll also do the dots. Then I'll take out ½ inch also from this other side. You know, I took out ½ inch from that side, so I will do the same for this other side. So the middle part now is 1 inch. So now to start drawing the hemline, so I'll go down by 1.5 inches at my waistline, 1.5 inches, just like that. Then at the end of this blouse here, I'll take 1.5 inch to both sides. So if you are calculating the ½ inch you've took out earlier, you can just measure 2 altogether. So altogether you should have 2. I'm so careful my head is not blocking anything, so that's why I'm looking at the camera. So I'll roll this line to this other side, then I'll connect this point downward to the point we mark downward. So I'll just connect it like this, and I'll also do the same thing to this other side. If you are watching my video and you've not liked this video, please just do that now. Thank you so much for doing it. So now I'll use my marker to roll out the lines, since I'm sure of what I'm doing. So it's always good to use your pencil at first, so that if there is a mistake, you can easily erase the pencil. So since I know that this line is okay, so I'll just be using my marker to roll that out. So the next thing is to connect this side. If you look at the blouse, from the blouse we are recreating, you will notice one side is lower than the other. So always note the side that is lower. So for this blouse, this side is lower. So from the back pattern I traced out, so the end of that blouse, like the side, I'll be connecting it inward here. But after placing my French curve, I noticed that I have to go down a little bit, so I just went down by 1 inch on this line. So I'll be connecting these points. I'll be connecting this point to this point. So the line I ruled before was the initial blouse length, so I'll just be connecting this point like this. So this is what it looks like. So for this other side, we'll just connect it downward here, just like this. As you can see, I'm not starting from the line, that straight line around that side, because from the back length, it did not start from that side also. So if you use that line, you may get confused. So just use what you trace from the back. So I'm using my marker to roll this out because I'm sure of what we've done. So we are done with the pattern drafting of the front actually. So if you notice that there is this pocket stuff at the front, so I'll be telling you where it should be on this pattern when we are done cutting. So there's this pocket at the front. I think it's a false pocket or just a design like a pocket at the front. So it should be at the waist area. I'll be showing you that very soon. So make sure you cut all the necessary parts. Yeah. So this is the overlapping part. As you can see, I'm just placing it on each other like this to overlap. So this is what it should look like. So this is what the pattern of the blouse is looking like. So for the pattern, for the pocket I mentioned earlier, it should be by your waist area. So it should just be like 3 to 4 inches. The pocket should not be more than 3 to 4 inches. So when you take in your darts, so just measure you can measure 1.5 to the right and left of your darts. Or if you are using 4, just measure 2 inches. That's when you've taken in your darts. So that's just where it will be. So this is the front pattern and it looks really, really nice. I'm so happy with the way it's turned out. So what I want to do now is to measure my neckline. This will be for the collar. So when I measure this, I have 2.75. I have 2.75 here. So I'm measuring one side. So when I'm done, I'll just multiply it by 2. So for this back also, you measure this also with the zipper allowance. So I'm measuring this for my back. I have 4.75 with the zipper allowance. So for the front, I have 2.75, but I don't know why I wrote 3.25 on this paper. So it affected the color I drafted, but I later amended it. For the front was 2.75 and the back was 4.75. So when you add them together, I have 8, and 8 times 2 is 16. So the color I should be cutting, if I'm using this measurement, should be 16 inches. So I'll just keep this somewhere and I'll get back to it. So this is the sleeve. So I'm labeling this front and this is the back. So I cut out a full sleeve. So it's not just one side. So I cut out a full sleeve. So now for this, I'll measure what I have at my wrist area. Then I'll divide it into 2. After dividing it into 2, I'll just go up. I'll just roll a straight line up. So after rolling the line, I'll just measure 3 inches. On that line, I'll measure 3 inches. So the length of this sleeve right here is 21. And this 21 inches is my actual wrist measurement. From my shoulder to my wrist is 21 inches. But from the blouse we are recreating, the sleeve is below the wrist area. So depending on how low you want yours to be. So for me, I'm just adding additional 4 inches below the wrist area. So just keep that in mind that we are adding additional 4 inches below the wrist area. So for this one we are doing, so what I will do is to measure 3 inches here. I'll measure 3 inches like this. Then I'll connect this downward, but I'll be leaving ½ inch at this part. And note that this pattern does not have joining allowance. So don't think that ½ inch is the joining allowance. No, I'm just leaving ½ inch like this on both sides. So I'm leaving ½ inch like this. So I'm using my marker to draw this out for it to be visible. So now we'll be cutting this triangle out. So we'll be cutting this triangle out. But before we cut out this, we'll measure this in full. So for me, I have 8.5. Then I'll make sure that this curve I have right here that I'm measuring is 8.5. Though it is on fold, this paper is on fold, but this flare that I'm trying to cut is a 180-degree flare. It's not a 360-degree flare. So you can just use you can just use 180-degree flip. So there's no need of cutting a full cycle, just an half cycle is okay. So make sure that this edge over here is the same thing as the edge here, though this is a little bit more than. So just place this like this. Then after we cut out this triangle, we'll be inserting it here. We'll be inserting it like this. So the length of this cycle that I cut out is the length I want to add, which is 4 inches. So it is 4 inches that I want to add to the length of my sleeve. So I'll now open this up and place it like this. So I'll be leaving the half inches that I left for the front. I'll be leaving it also. Then I'll just use my paper tape to hold this down like this. I hope you understand. Please, if you don't understand, just watch it over again. You will get it, trust me. So I will use a paper tape to place this like this, just to hold it down. And so when I insert it into this sleeve, you know, I'll be cutting out a different fabric for this extension, so it will just fit inside like that. So but I'll be making this part, I'll be amending this part very soon. This is because this, if you notice the edge, they are sharp, and it will not be easy for us to be able to join it with the main sleeve. So what I will do is, so I'm just putting a paper tape here just to block this sharp corner, and I will reshape the corners. So we have to reshape the corners so that when we want to join this to the sleeve, it won't be difficult. So I'll just blend it in like this. So it is more easier to join this kind of curve than the sharp curve we have before. So I'll also do the same thing too for the main sleeve. I'm just cutting out the excess I have there. And I'll also do the same thing too for this, for the main sleeve. So I'll just blend that in also. So I wanted to cut it out, but I was like, let me show you guys what I want to do. So I'm just trying to blend this sharp edge inside, so that when you want to join this, it will be much more easier to join. So it will not be that easy to join, but it will be much more easier to join. So this is what it will look like. So you just go ahead and join this when you're about to sew. So now it's time for the collar. So like I said, from these measurements, there's a mistake in my 3.25. It should be 2.75, but nonetheless, we'll go ahead and draft this. We'll draft this with the measurements we have. So we just assume that my neckline is 3.25. So you fold your pattern like this. The collar will be on fold. So I'm just folding the pattern. You can actually use one pattern without folding it, but when you want to transfer it on your fabric, just make sure it's on fold. But I just want to fold the pattern. I don't know why. So you measure the 16 inches divided by 2. So it's 8 inches. You measure 8 inches here. So for me, I want to indicate the zipper allowance that was at the back. You know, we measure it together. So you don't have to cut it away. I'm just rolling it out on it. I don't know why I'm rolling it out actually, but I just want to roll it out like that. Then this is 8 inches all together with the 1 inches I rolled out is 8 inches. So the next thing you will do is to reduce this. So whatsoever you have, reduce it by half. Though I first reduced it by 1, but after reducing it by 1, I noticed it was short. So it's better to reduce by half. So let's reduce by 1 at first. Then I will show you when I adjusted the pattern. So now we are reducing this by 1 inch. Just bear in mind, this is still 1 inch. Then what I did was to measure what I have. So I noticed it was not up to, so I'm adding to it. So this is 1 inch. So that side is 1 inch that we are cutting away. So now for the wideness of the collar, I'm using 2.5. So just roll 2.5 like this. Then you roll it downward. So you roll it downward. So this is the allowance. So I'm just writing it so that you don't think this is the part we want to cut out. No, we are not cutting it out. It's together with the pattern. So at this edge here, you blend it in. like this. So you blend it in. So I'm just using freehand to blend it in, just something like a curve like this. So you should have this other side. So the next thing is to take in 1 inch upward. So you take in 1 inch upward, then you rule this out. At first I did not measure this, but you have to measure this. So what you have to measure here is the front neckline. So what I measured at the front, which is 3.25. So that was what I should measured, not just ruling. So the line now should be 3.25. So I'll just place my tape like this, then I'll mark 3.25 right here. So I will redraw this line like this. So this is a 3.25 I have. I know you will ask me why I reduce my measurement at first. This is because if you check this lower part will be longer. It will be longer if we had used the complete measurement. But after measuring this, I noticed that I still have to add ½ inch to it. So I shouldn't reduce by 1 inch. So instead, I should reduce by ½ inch. So I'll just be extending this a little bit towards that part that was 1 inch. So I'll be extending it. So what you should have, this side should be your back. That side that has your allowance should be your back. So the straight line should be your actual back length, while this curved part should be the front. So like I said, I'm extending it inward by ½ inch now. Then I will just redraw this curve I have here. I hope you understand, please. I hope you understand. I just pray you understand. So I'm redrawing this. So this line here, you should remeasure it. So it should be 3.25 rather. So 3.25. So the remaining part here should be your back length. So after measuring this, it was accurate. So that was why I knew that the measurement should be reduced by ½ not 1 inch. So I'll cut this out and I will place it on my front bodice for you to see how it will look. You know, like I said, I wrote 3.25. My actual front measurement is 2.75. You actually see that now. I don't know how I got 3.25 that I wrote. So this is it after cutting. Then I'll just try and place this. I'll try and place it on the front bodice to see where this will actually be. So this part here, that slant side should actually fill up the front. Like I said, this is more than my front measurement. So it was when I placed it, I noticed that this was too much. When I measured it, I now noticed that it's 2.75, not 3.25. So it's 2.75 I have here. So when I place this like this, it should be able to accommodate what I have at the front, that slant side. So what I try to do is to cut out the excess I have. So I'll be cutting out the excess I added earlier to see if it will still fit in. So I'm trying to measure this part again just to be sure of what I'm doing now. So I measured this and this was 4.75. So the front was 2.75. So adding this together, I should have 7.5. So 7.5. So I'm trying to reduce this to see if it will still work. So if I reduce this by 0.5, it should still fit in, right? So I'm trying to trim this part very well so that it can be straight. So now this should fit in. So I'm trying to measure this. So 2.75, then 4.75. So it was okay. So when I insert this into this, it should meet this line, as you can see. So this is how it should be. Then this other side will be at the back, then it will just go like that. And as you see, the allowance side, it will be opened. It will be cut open because there's a zipper allowance there, and that allowance is for the joining. I hope you understand now. So that is all about the tutorial. So I'm not sure if I'll be cutting this on the fabric because I already have a similar style already. So having two similar styles, I'll just think about it. Just let me know if you want me to recreate it in the comment section. Bye.